Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel where I like to make creative projects very impulsively and then I kick myself for doing that in the end, but usually they turn out pretty good. In today's video I want to try to make a coat. I've seen a lot of inspiration of this online and I just have the absolute need to make one for myself. I'm going to try and base it off of a coat that I already have and see if I can draft a pattern from that coat to make it into this new coat. The coat in question is this beautiful wool coat that I bought from the thrift store. It is a super long wool coat. I believe I bought this for $17. It is the perfect fancy winter coat. Really would love to try to transfer this into a cropped version, and I think that's what I'm going to try to do today. Unfortunately, I have a few other projects on the go right now that I'm kind of hopping back and forth between, but this is something that I really want to do, and I find that when the fire is burning in me, I just have to go with it. So let's make this into a pattern. So as much as I think that this jacket is perfect in every way, there are a few things that I'd like to alter. First one being the sleeves. I have very long arms and I want them to be accounted for when making this new jacket. Second thing, I think I want to simplify the buttons and just have a regular placket so that each button can show through. Then the last thing, majority, is I want to crop it. So I think that this jacket, the collar, everything else is perfect. And there are really nice raglan sleeves on this jacket too. So that'll be really interesting to put into the new pattern. Can't tell if my mannequin is taller than me or not. Is that better? It's like I have a friend. So me and my friend are going to have our jacket fit right here. I'm going to lay some pieces of scrap fabric onto my mannequin and then trace around all of the seam edges so that I can then transfer that onto paper pattern. High five. Yeah. So the fabric I'm planning on using is from Blackbird Fabrics. This is their Polywool Blend Boucle coating in the color Slate Blue. I bought 1.5 meters of this. I think it's going to pair really nicely with the coat that I want to make. So I was done for that afternoon and now I'm going to work again tonight, but I just came across the scariest thing. Terrifying. Much less scary when the lights are on, but walking past this room kind of catches you off guard for a little bit. Now I'm all done with placing the pieces onto the coat. Now I can take it all off and put it onto paper. Now I have all my pattern pieces cut out, so now I get to transfer it onto my actual fabric. A little nervous, but that always happens when you're cutting into like the nice fabric. So I'm gonna get over that nervousness and just go right to excited and cut this out. More candles. A little bit of Oscar Wilde. First step of this coat is just piecing together the back pieces and also the sleeve pieces so that I can construct the coat. At this point, the house was severely cold, so working on the coat was actually very enthusiastic because I wanted as much warmth as I could get on my body. Next I moved on to the collar, and I wanted to add some interfacing onto the collar, so I used some iron-on interfacing and ironed that on. Then pinned on the extra little piece that goes on the collar for more stability. I then continued on making the facing for the lining. I was able to make the front piece when I was cutting out the patterns originally. I was running out of time to do it for the back and the arms, and I didn't want to have a bunch of little pieces to make the final facing, so I waited until I had my back together, my arms together, and then I just laid them down on top of the fabric and made little facings to go over top of them. So now I can connect all of these facings together and then leave that to the side when I'm ready for the lining. Don't mind this, my hair is wet and I don't want to blow dry it right now. So now I have all the pieces sewn together, and because I don't want this bulky seam allowance raised up, I'm going to go by hand and just tack them down. And that should take me a really long time, but it's something that I want to do, and I think it'll make the jacket fit a lot nicer, so I'm gonna do it.
1 month later.
It's been a month since I've worked on this jacket, and I just really want to get back into it. I've had some other projects that I've had to get done, some dance costumes, and then I made that dress for my birthday. My family has just been attacked by every cold imaginable, and as much as I kind of feel one coming right now, it's like right here, so we're gonna keep it right there and just keep moving on. As much as I'm going to work on this jacket, I also need to kind of clean up this room because it's kind of gotten to a point of no return where I'm tripping over literal garbage. I kind of want to make a video on revamping this room, so if you want to see that, let me know. I have some big ideas that I want to attack, and right now all I need is just like the time to do it. So I want to get this jacket done so that I can move on to that next project. So since you last saw me in this video, this project has been living in this bag. So let's go through it and see what's the next step. It's like this is the facing piece that goes around the neck and the front opening. Oh, did I attach a second sleeve? Oh no. So I have one sleeve, I have pinned on the second sleeve, and then this is the collar band, so I added in that extra little piece that goes along the collar. Did I? Ah, yes. And then we have some pockets. So now that I've kind of refreshed my memory on what I need to do, first thing I'm going to do is sew down the seam allowance on the lining around the neck and the front edge. Then I'm going to attach the sleeves. So let's get back to work. Not feeling too good, but we persevere. Currently, shoulder-wise, we are doing great. So now trying it on myself, it is big. So this cropped length is perfect. I have to adjust my pattern so that I can remove some excess fabric from this middle line, as well as crop this sweater. And then I'll have to fix the lining, but it's all a work in progress. So part of me just wants to leave it like unlined, and then like I can do that like at a later date. But I've done a lining before in my blazer that I made a few years back, and I really like lining jackets like this. So if I have enough time, maybe I'll try to do that. But I really want to get this jacket done, so that's kind of the conflicting thought in my head. Don't look at the mess, please, please. I promise you, it's gonna be cleaned soon. Soon. Just grant me some kindness and some well thoughts, because this is gonna be a big room to tackle because I got big plans.
So next I adjusted all the pattern pieces and made the markings onto the fabric, but then my camera died. So let's just move on to the next clip, which is me combining all the pieces of the collar together. Then I just clipped and graded the other seam allowances so that the collar would turn out nice and crisp.
So far, this is the collar, so this is the underside, this is the back of the jacket, and this is the upper collar. I'm going based off of this pattern that I have from Quixo. Basically all I'm following it on is the construction of adding in the lapel as well as the collar. So for the front edge of the jacket, I'm going to lay on the lining piece and then sew all the way up and then to where the collar meets. So it'll just be up to there. I've also gone ahead and pinned the rest of the facing to the upper part of the collar so that when I'm done in sewing, it'll turn around and have a very nice finish on that side. I'm going to go across the front edge, around to the collar, and then down the front again, and everything should be nicely put together. It's looking so good. collar is on, it is looking pretty good. But now comes the part where I need to actually see how things look on it. I've determined where I want to crop the jacket, which is like an inch below where my pants hit. So I think that is a very good wiggle room type situation. This down, fold these sides in, and then place it about an inch above the hem. I think like right underneath my boob, I think that'll be good enough to hold like a pair of keys or something.
So making patch pockets is actually really easy. You just turn in 3 sides of the pocket square, making one side the upper edge, and then I sewed the bottom of the pocket onto the coat and then turned it upwards and did a top stitch on both sides to secure the patch pocket onto the coat. I then stitched along the placket of the coat where the hem would be and turned it inside out so that it creates this really nice finish.
For the lining of this jacket, what I'm thinking is that this beautiful blue would pair so nicely with a reddish pink color. And I love pairing a navy with like this beautiful red color. I just think that they complement each other so well. And I really want to have this little pop inside of the jacket, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. So I have to cut out all the pattern pieces, sew them all together, and then it'll be ready to pin to the inside of the jacket. Now that the lining is pinned onto the jacket, I'm going to iron and turn under the edges of the lining, and then I'm going to hand stitch everything onto the jacket, and then I'll be ready to attach the buttons, do a top stitch around the edges, and then I think we're done. Today I want to go to the store and see if I can find any buttons. This is the type of button I'm looking for. I'm going to use some leftover fabric to practice the buttonholes onto this very thick fabric and see how they turn out.
I never have the best luck with buttons, and unfortunately this time I did have to break a needle to get my jacket out of my sewing machine. But in the end, I was luckily able to wiggle the coat out and then finish off the buttonholes with my machine. I wanted to make this little loop that goes on the inside of the coat so that I can hang it up nicely onto my coat hook. This just allows for the coat to have some place to hang and doesn't stretch out the neck of the coat. But at this point, I needed to leave the house to go in search of buttons, and I had to bring my little babe with me.
Ideally, I wanted just a button like this, like plain black. I found these ones, and I think that they'll look pretty nice with this jacket. I didn't want to go with navy because I didn't want it to blend in, but I think that these ones will have just the right amount of contrast. They didn't have like just plain black buttons like I wanted, but like honestly, if I really wanted to, I can just paint them.
So I've noticed on some heavier coats that I have that the buttons that they attach will also have a secondary button on the back. This will allow for the button to have a really strong anchor and not just put a lot of tension onto the weave of the fabric. That way the button doesn't stretch out the fabric when it gets pulled over and over again. And it just looks so professional. I'm in love. Last thing I did was just do a top stitch all the way around the edges of the coat, and then it was finished. I am head over heels in love with this coat. It turned out way better than I thought. I just love wearing this out. I love the way that it looks and feels, and also just the lining I was so proud of. I really love making coats, and I might make some more in the future, so stay tuned. I also added this little inside pocket to put my phone, and it's perfect. If you like this video, make sure to check out some of my other videos on making projects that I just absolutely love sharing.
Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm going back inside because it is bitter cold out here, and hopefully to go in and feel better and rest. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.